Prepare yourselves for an Izzy-style seminar. How do we even define hero in a meaningful way when so many kids make this claim? So Papa knew that I adored him, but that rhetoric wasn't my style. But then a few years ago, we started doing a family history project. At the start of each weekly video chat, we'd spend half an hour where Mama and Papa would answer questions about their lives and our heritage. As I got to know Papa better as a full person, and I became wiser myself, it became even clearer to me that Izzy was the best man that I've ever known. So I'd like to present to you my final thesis on why Izzy Leybovich was my hero.
His childhood was materially poor. They had to carry water in patchy clothes to a house made of mud and straw. But that didn't faze him. When asked about his childhood, Izzy would gush about the kids, the animals, the gardens, the butterflies, the soccer, the walnuts that stained your hands, the sour cherries eaten from the tree, and tracking the family's ducks by tying little colored ribbons around their necks. He would say, "We were poor, but we had fun." He taught himself to read at 5 years old. His proud papa would take him to the barber shop to show off little Izzy reading the newspaper. Soon, he was consuming books from the library 2 bags at a time. Izzy learned chess from a torn book, which was missing the pages explaining checkmate. So he and his brothers would play until one of them managed to physically grab the other's king. Honestly, this explains a lot about the way our family does game making. This is the one color photo we have from Papa's youth. His brother Lonya got some expired colored film from a friend. So they did an impromptu shoot and developed the images in a makeshift darkroom underneath their bed. This kid, sitting on Moldovan dirt, had no idea how amazing his life would become. But he knew that he could make it happen. A hero loves deeply. Izzy had love and enthusiasm for everybody. When he'd greet you after some time away, the ritual was 3 cheek kisses, alternating sides. He'd count them out. 1, 2, 3. And he'd always insist that his mom would do 7, so we were getting off easy. His greatest love of nearly half a century was with his best friend, partner, soulmate, and wife, Larissa. In 1977, she interviewed for a job at Moldovan radio and TV broadcasting. Izzy was the hiring manager, and somehow the cute single Jewish girl got the job. You dog, you. The Soviet Union had many rules, but not dating your work comrades was not one of the strict ones. Before the relationship became serious, Izzy sat Larissa down and told her that he intended to leave the Soviet Union. He only saw a gray future there for everyone, especially Jews. He wanted the freedom to think, believe, and build something better. She thought this was a good idea. They were engaged within 3 months, and their wedding in 1978 was in an apartment filled with family, friends, and the French and American music Izzy had collected through his work. A hero saves selflessly. They wanted to leave the Soviet Union before having kids. Mama says that, like panda bears, they don't like to breed in captivity. But this carried enormous risk. Once you raise your hand to leave, you are persona non grata to the state, and there is no guarantee that it will work. This took cojones, but Izzy was determined. Papa's vision for a brighter future for his family saved us from a very different life in Soviet Moldova. It changed what was possible for our family. The risk and uncertainty that he and Mama chose gifted to my sister and I a universe of choices that they never had. Izzy and Larissa immigrated to St. Louis, Missouri in 1979. They were refugees with no friends, little money, limited English, a trunk full of books, and one of those Russian shapka hats covering heads full of dreams. Izzy learned English by watching game shows and started helping other immigrants while he was still finding his own footing. Papa and Mama were the first Leiboviches here, but they helped save the rest of the family as well. There were these rumors in the USSR of these American supermarkets where there were fruit piles instead of bread lines. Can you imagine? Izzy and Larissa sent back one photo to Moldova with arms full of bananas, oranges, and pineapples. The whole gang came shortly thereafter. My family likes fruit. A hero adventures widely. Once Izzy got a taste of freedom, he never stopped traveling. Since we were kids, while he and Larissa were building their American dream, we ventured all over the world. Papa and Mama also got very into bicycling and took weeks-long trips. As my sister and I got old enough, our joint family adventures got even more interesting. Our most memorable trip was 2 years ago. Jenny and I had asked forever to visit Moldova with our parents and understand where our family came from. Initially, Papa and Mama were not enthused. We worked so hard to get out of that place. Why would we spend our vacation going back? My then girlfriend, now wife Ava, is wise about these things. And she just booked for the two of us to go since we'd be in Europe anyways for a vacation, stop on by, or for a wedding. Then Papa just couldn't resist. Well, you will need someone to show you around. It ended up being Ava and me, Papa and Mama, and Jenny and her husband, Michael. It was a trip of a lifetime. Izzy and Larissa fled as refugees and returned as bosses. We visited the home where Papa's parents built 70 years prior and hung out for hours, drinking wine with the current owners and telling stories. That's where this picture is from, the other side, coming full circle, from Uncle Loinya's makeshift color photo so many decades before. We saw Papa's childhood stories come to life. We found his great-grandmother's grave in an overgrown, abandoned Jewish cemetery behind a farm in rural Romania.
Wow.
We learned enough to carry our family's heritage forward to Izzy's grandchildren and beyond. Izzy rose from humble beginnings to snag a baddie, escape to safety, grow a family, and explore the world. He did it his way, so we can choose our way. But Papa wasn't just a hero. He was also an engineer. He lived to learn things and to fix things. Izzy was relentlessly curious and loved studying. Leading up to his first day of school, an infection had badly swollen his foot. He borrowed a larger shoe and went to school anyways. Later, when a new physics teacher caught him ignoring the lecture because he was reading ahead in the book beneath the desk during class, she tried to confiscate the book. He started quizzing her about the materials from later chapters. When she couldn't answer, he got to resume the reading. Classic Leybovich move. He loved physics because it explained the real world and because every answer revealed how much was still unknown. He studied semiconductors and engineering at Ryazan, Russia, finishing first in his class with honors. But when he graduated, the opportunities were limited because of anti-Semitism. He called it a spit in the face. But he was not defined by that. He made his life better so that injustice became irrelevant. When he came to America, he initially found work as an electronic test technician at $5.50 an hour. He and Larissa went to Dairy Queen to celebrate earning their first $1,000. His boss nicknamed him Einstein for his problem-solving prowess, and also maybe the mustache and the hair. The whole package. But the name fit. Izzy earned his electrical engineering PhD at Washington University while still learning English. He once walked into a control systems class with a slide rule while the other students carried calculators, and he still learned an A. He discovered thermally stimulated persistent conductivity in N aluminum gallium arsenide/gallium arsenide heterostructures, of which we are all familiar, of course. He went on to a distinguished engineering career at McDonnell Douglas and Boeing, which brought him to Southern California to work on the space station, space shuttle, and satellites. As a student, he would stare up at the full night sky while laying on piles of hay at the mandatory Soviet potato harvest, which is a real thing. He felt like he was swimming in stars, in his words. He spent his professional life helping humanity reach those stars. He was also always fixing things around the house in unique ways. Maybe unorthodox, but would get the job done. He has so many tools, like way, way more than is necessary. I was in the garage this week. The dude has 4 chainsaws. But Papa always wanted to have the exact right solution to any given problem. Lastly, beyond hero and engineer was Papa's most natural role, gardener. In his retirement, he enrolled in classes and earned the distinction of master gardener. Now, remember the fruits I mentioned earlier? My whole life, we always had a backyard full of fruits and veggies, bursting with way more fresh produce than a family of 4 can reasonably consume. But as he would say, it is always better to share too much than to have too little. He loved the quiet miracle, planting a seed and seeing life emerge from the soil. When we were planning our Moldova visit, his main concern was how the timing would align with the harvest, so he could eat a fresh tomato like an apple and munch on bags of sour cherries. His love of helping things grow extended beyond horticulture. A master father and a master friend is the same as a master gardener, planting seeds and helping them grow. My sister and I are his proudest cultivations. He didn't try to make us anyone we weren't. Just provided the right food, water, light, and love. He wanted us to be independent, self-sufficient, and capable of making our own decisions. Every week on our family call, he and Mama would ask about my business. But his feedback was never just empty encouragement. It would become an impromptu board meeting. His way of taking me seriously was, believing me, was taking me seriously, challenging my reasoning, and helping me improve. Leybovich love is a hug of support and then 6 more questions about implementation. He helped us build strong minds, hearts, eyes, and hands, and always keep trying in our way. Izzy inspired decency in other people. When he saw a young person hold the door open, he would tell them, "Your mother should be proud of you." Maine, when he was the hair of an angel. He was really proud of that. Hair of an angel. Even from short encounters from years ago, if you've met him even once, you've been Izzy'd. He helps each of us grow. Izzy plants seeds of kindness and helps us realize the full bloom that is uniquely each of us. Now, as we return the master gardener to the earth, it's on each of us to keep watering and caring for those seeds for our own good and in honor of his memory. Grow, baby, grow for Papa. Izzy's life ended far sooner than any of us thought. They discovered aggressive liver cancer. He thought he had 7 months. He was going to fight it with every ounce of Izzy's strength and optimism. He was going to have a month in Paris with his brother. He was going to tell us everything on our family call this week on Monday night. But his body gave out on Monday morning. He never told us he got sick. He was trying to protect us. I wish he didn't do that, because we would have been there by his side in a second. We were just a call away. But that was Papa's way, wanting to protect us to a fault. And he thought he had more time. I wish I got to hear just once more how much he loves us and how proud he is of us. But we know it so deeply because the master gardener planted that ever-blooming seed. We will see his face and hear his voice and feel his warmth always. And we know that he knew that we love him and are so proud to be his family. What a gift that even without a formal goodbye, with how close and loving our family was, that nothing was left unsaid. The last time that I got to see him was our family call last week. We knew that something was up. He didn't look well. We asked, but he said he'd tell us more later. He did get in one last joke about the World Cup, that some years ago, he was able to finally start lightly rooting for the German soccer team, mostly so he can free up some space to root against Argentina instead. Izzy was kind, but he still had standards. I took a screenshot of our video call after that joke because I like to smile. Maybe somehow I knew what was going to happen. Soon after I learned about his passing, I opened up my Google Photos to see the last picture that I had of my papa. For the first time that I've experienced this, at the bottom of the screen, the little facial grouping feature put up a photo of me next to a photo of him and asked, same person or different person? I can only hope that now and forever, I'm more the same than different. One of Papa's lessons we must heed the most is how to live and love with loss. Izzy's mother gave birth to 7 children. 3 of them died as infants. The 4th nearly broke the family. The death in a trolley bus accident of his teenage sister Ella, who was the namesake of his first grandchild. Decades later, he said, "It still hurts your heart." And he always felt as though some piece of you is gone. We can see how moved and impacted he still was when we visited her grave in Moldova a few years ago. Such a big piece of us is missing now for everyone here. But we are also Papa's remaining gardeners in this world to keep planting Izzy-style seeds of kindness. If Papa was still able to share so much of his heart with so many people after what he's lost, surely we must still be able to feel immense joy and deep love, even while we're in so much pain right now. It's not always easy, but we could all be a little more Izzy. As a child, Papa once read that archaeologists had discovered a letter written by a boy 2,500 years ago. He started wondering what kind of message he might leave for people in the future. The hours of stories that we recorded over years and 200,000 transcribed words are my family's shot at sharing his message of kindness, curiosity, and love to those who come later. In one of our conversations, Papa reflected on what might follow this life. He hoped there might be something more, another opportunity to learn and to grow. But if not, he concluded, it was a good ride. And what we'll be okay too, eventually. He wants us to be. He made our family strong, and I know we'll be able to carry on his memory with joy after the sadness. We'll keep tending Izzy's garden of kindness in ourselves and the people around us. So that's our beloved Izzy Leybovich, engineer to the stars, gardener of our souls, hero to his son. You had a great ride, Papa. We just weren't ready for it to end. Your hair is still beautiful, but now you are all angel. I love you, Papa. Rest easy. and we'll miss you forever.